This evening, first, a Phagwah morning turns tragic on the East Coast as two young siblings are found dead in a roadside trench in Melanie. Plus, two Child Protection Agency officers are suspended after a disturbing video surfaces showing a school child being dragged through an intervention. Also, a couple linked to an illegal Forex investment scheme is sentenced to 4 years in prison after laundering millions through a property purchase. Meanwhile, President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali urges world leaders to choose dialogue over war amid rising global tensions. And internationally, an Iranian-made drone strikes a Britain military base in Cyprus, marking a dangerous escalation in the Middle East conflict. Those stories and more coming up. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update from March 4th, 2026. I'm Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, what started as a regular Phagwah morning for the Decourt family turned into a heartbreak for Melanie, East Coast Demerara, after two of their young children were found motionless in a trench along the Melanie-Darmshana Enterprise Access Road. Dead are 10-year-old Jaden Decourt and his 8-year-old sister, Tiana Decourt, both pupils of Melanie Darmshana. The children's father said they went to play with their cousins.
It was an annual thing. They must go and play Phagwah every year. It's an annual thing. So normally when the two cousins come this morning, I asked the mother for go and play in front. Guys, normal. The mother said, okay, I go along and play in front. A couple of minutes after, she put her clothes on the baby and she self and she proceed with them. The children and the people and my mother says in front of my mother. She proceed with them.
Preliminary investigations indicate that the children had left home with their mother earlier that morning and were in the area when they reportedly wandered away. Eyewitnesses allege that Tiana attempted to retrieve water from the trench but slipped in while doing so. Her brother went in to save her and they both tragically submerged. The father of the children said around 11 a.m. he received the news that the two children were found unresponsive in a nearby trench.
One of me cousins tell me, do that in front 10 year, T and J don't jump at the back. When I get an electric motorcycle out there, so I ride wrong and I come wrong now. When I come home, you know, me see nobody here, nothing going on here. And then I see some people running through the ball field. And when they raise me, I see the ball field, the Enterprise Road full people. So I take my motorbike now and I go wrong. Now when I go wrong in front of now, I see one, see my dad lie down there. And my son motionless lie down there.
The mother was alerted and subsequently identified the bodies of her children. Emergency medical technicians pronounced both children dead at the scene. Police reported that no marks of violence were observed on their bodies. Investigations are ongoing as authorities work to determine the full circumstances surrounding the tragic incident. In other news, two officers attached to the Child Protection Agency have been suspended with immediate effect after a disturbing video surfaced showing a school child being dragged during an intervention. Minister of Human Services and Social Security, Dr. Vinay Prasad, confirmed that the incident was brought to her attention and described the footage as appalling. In a statement, the minister said the actions captured in the video run counter to the values and operational procedures of the Child Care and Protection Agency. She noted that the matter has been referred to the police for further action and assured that those involved will be held accountable. The ministry reiterated its commitment to safeguarding the welfare and rights of children, stressing that misconduct of this nature cannot and will not be tolerated. Investigations are ongoing. A couple linked to an illegal Forex investment scheme has been sentenced to 4 years behind bars after a court found they laundered millions of dollars in illicit funds through a high-value property purchase. Aubrey Norton and his wife Martina Sirprasad were convicted on Friday by Magistrate Rochelle Liverpool at the Sparendam Magistrates Court on money laundering charges instituted in 2021 by the Special Organized Crime Unit. According to Suku's investigation, the couple acted as agents for Accelerated Capital Forming Incorporated, an unlicensed company engaged in illegal Forex investment operations. The pair allegedly solicited investors in exchange for a 10% commission while earning a combined monthly salary of $175,000. The court heard that the defendants transferred $53.5 million as a down payment towards a $70 million property at Labon Intention on the east coast of Demerara in an effort to conceal the illicit origin of the funds. Prosecutors presented evidence from investors, cash transaction records, and property documents, arguing that the movement of large sums of unexplained cash into real estate was a deliberate attempt to disguise proceeds of crime. Magistrate Liverpool ruled that the prosecution had proven beyond a reasonable doubt that the funds were criminal proceeds and that the transfer was intended to conceal their origin. The defense denied any involvement with the company or the property transaction, but the court rejected their claim, citing consistent and credible witness testimony. Following their conviction, both Norton and Cyprus were sentenced to 4 years imprisonment. Their request for bail, pending appeal, was denied. Stick around and return AK-47 pistol and ammunition discovered during police operation in quarantine. And President Ali urges dialogue over war amid global conflict.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. As violence continues in parts of the Middle East and beyond, President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali on Monday called on world leaders to prioritize dialogue over armed conflict, warning that war disproportionately harms women and children. The president made the appeal while addressing a gathering at State House during a pre-Phagwah celebration, noting that although Ghana enjoys peace and unity, many nations remain gripped by instability. He cautioned against what he described as a dangerous contradiction in global affairs, the belief that war is the pathway to peace. Instead, he stressed that lasting peace can only be achieved through sustained dialogue and diplomatic engagement, calling on stakeholders in the Gulf region, Israel, Iran, and the United States, among others. President Ali urged leaders to allow the table of conversation to supersede the table of strength, emphasizing respect for the rule of law, dignity, and freedom. Referencing the observance of Ramadan, Lent, and Holy, the Guyanese leader also encouraged reflection and global responsibility, highlighting Ghana's role of unity across ethnic and cultural lines as an example of how bridging divides can lead to a more peaceful world. Moving on, police in Regional Division 6 have uncovered an AK-47 rifle, a pistol, and ammunition during an operation at Ulverston Village, Quarantine, as investigations intensify into a series of recent armed robberies in Rose Hall Town. The discovery was made on Tuesday after ranks acted on intelligence linked to the recent high-profile robberies in the Quarantine area. A 21-year-old construction worker from Alnis Village was arrested as part of the operation. During searches conducted at the location in Ulverston Village, officers found a cutlass sack concealed in a tamarind tree on an empty plot of land. Inside the sack were a 9mm pistol with 4 matching rounds, an AK-47 rifle with 17 matching rounds, and a pair of gloves. The suspect was taken to the Rose Hall Town Police Station, and the firearms and ammunition were lodged as evidence pending further investigation. The find comes amid growing public concern over the use of high-powered weapons in recent robberies across the Quarantine, with an AK-47 pulled from a tamarind tree and robberies fresh in the public's mind. The question now is not just who is behind these weapons, but how many more are still out there waiting to be found. Residents are calling on the Ghana Police Force to intensify intelligence operations, strengthen border controls, and ensure illegal firearms are removed from the streets before more lives are endangered. Don't go away after the break. EAU under attack, life disrupted by Iranian missile and drone strikes, and global markets react to Middle East conflict. Travel stocks hit or rises.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening, I'm Dominic Kittins. Tonight, St. Vincent and the Grenadines warns rising Middle East tension could push up fuel prices and inflation. Iran's retaliatory strikes hit infrastructure in the UAE. Global markets react to the escalating conflict. And a drone strike targets a British base in Cyprus. St. Vincent and the Grenadines has warned citizens to prepare for possible price increases as tension escalates in the Middle East following U.S.-Israel operation in Iran. Prime Minister Dr. Godwin Friday said rising fuel and energy costs could trigger inflation and affect tourism and imports. The government is monitoring the situation and preparing measures to reduce potential economic fallout if the conflict continues. Iran's retaliatory strikes have hit the UAE hard. Attacks have targeted civilian infrastructure in a country that has built its reputation on being a safe haven in the region. Al Jazeera's Rory Chadlands reports.
Keep calm and carry on may as well be Layla Hashim's motto. The 16-year-old student lives in Dubai, which Iran has targeted with strikes.
I was very startled and scared, and then because there's social media, I read more about it and I understood the situation. And then I became more comfortable and I felt safe.
With Dubai under attack, Layla's school is shut. Its buses sit in the car park, idle. But Layla isn't. Her classroom is now a desk in her house.
Now that I'm working from home, obviously I feel safer than if I were to go to school because I'm still inside my house. But I still think all of my teachers, they're very nice. They all helped us with the situation and we're learning normally.
In the United Arab Emirates, foreigners are nearly 90% of the population. Many came seeking economic opportunities, and until last weekend, safety was a draw too. The UAE's government will be watching for signs an exodus is coming. For now, getting out is unlikely. Nearly all flights are still grounded. Dubai Airport is the biggest international transit hub in the world, and thousands of travellers are stranded. James Gaskin, passing through on his way back to the UK, is now settling into a Dubai hotel room. He doesn't know how long he'll be here.
The longer it goes on, the more edgy people are getting. There's a lot more people in reception, asking questions, trying to find out what the latest is. It just feels as if people are now, right, this is real and I don't really like it.
Rory Challens, Al Jazeera.
Asian markets edged lower on Monday as U.S. and Israeli military strikes on Iran saw airline and other travel-related stocks fall. Al Jazeera's Jack Barton has more.
After opening on Monday, Hong Kong's Hang Seng and Japan's Nikkei index fell sharply. They later pared back some of the losses, with gains for companies linked to defense and oil. Shares in Japan's two main airlines fell more than 6%, underscoring the fact that 90% of Japan's crude comes from the Middle East.
Peace and security in the Middle East, including energy security, are also of utmost importance to Japan. We will continue to make all necessary diplomatic efforts.
It's not just Japan at risk, as the price of benchmark Brent crude continues to rise. According to US government data, more than 80% of oil and gas passing through the Strait of Hormuz is destined for Asia, with India, China, Japan and South Korea accounting for almost 70% of crude oil passing through it last year. South Korea says it has enough oil stockpiled to keep prices stable for at least 7 months. And after an emergency weekend meeting, Seoul announced the creation of a fund worth about $69 billion to stabilize the stock market if needed. Analysts say volatility across Asian markets is expected to continue, as long as there is no clear resolution or goal to end the conflict, which has been expanding across the Middle East region. Jack Barton, Al Jazeera, Seoul.
An Iranian-made Shahed drone struck inside a British airbase in Cyprus overnight, marking the first direct attack on UK sovereign territory in the escalating Middle East conflict. Al Jazeera's Sonia Gallego reports.
The day the conflict in the Middle East reached UK's sovereign territory, an Iranian-made Shahed drone struck inside the British airbase in Cyprus overnight, followed by 2 more. Both were intercepted. But the attack sent shockwaves across the eastern Mediterranean island, where Greece is now sending frigates and fighter jets as regional tensions mount. The UK moved additional air assets to the base in recent days, while waves of Iranian drones and missiles hit countries across the Gulf. The government had initially resisted deeper involvement, but the scale and breadth of the assault on British allies forced a reversal of that decision.
It is clear that Iran's outrageous response has become a threat to our people, our interests and our allies, and it cannot be ignored.
Pressure also came from the US, with President Donald Trump saying he was very disappointed that Prime Minister Keir Starmer had blocked American use of Diego Garcia military base in the Indian Ocean. A criticism echoed by Starmer's political rival, Reform UK leader Nigel Farage, himself a longtime ally of Trump and a prominent voice on the British right.
I do believe the American president and the Israelis are right in what they're doing, and I find the actions of our Prime Minister, or the inactions, perhaps I should say, of our Prime Minister, frankly pathetic.
Starmer had announced over the weekend that the US could use British bases, including Diego Garcia, for defensive strikes on Iranian missile sites. But the UK's legacy in the region from the 2003 invasion of Iraq is never far from mind, still recent enough to make even limited involvement feel consequential. While critics say the delay in granting the US access may have weakened Britain's position, what is certain is that Iran's targeting of a British airbase marks a turning point in the UK's role in this widening conflict. Sonia Gallego, Al Jazeera.
Thanks, Dominique. This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it to be 2 headline news for this Wednesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.